So you think you're gonna buy a Hiace. You're about to jump off the ledge. You want someone to pull you back off the ledge. Let me give you 5 reasons why you don't want to buy a Toyota Hiace. Now, you might want to check out my other video about the 5 reasons you do want to buy a Hiace, because trust me, the 5 reasons to buy a Hiace are way better than the 5 reasons to not buy one.
He's absolutely right.
And this video will be based on the 100 series Toyota Hiace, mostly the Super Custom. So this is like the 1990 through 2004, which as of recording this in the US, about the newest you could get is a 2000 due to import rules. Number 1 reason why you don't want a Hiace is parts availability. You're not going to find one of these in a junkyard to pick parts off of. And there are very few parts on a Hiace that cross-reference with other Toyota models of the same vintage. So things like a steering wheel, I mean, that could probably cross-reference off of a Camry or something like that. Maybe, a hazard light switch, maybe a clock, maybe a blank or other switches. A lot of that stuff could cross-reference over, but there's a lot of things that are just very weird and unique to a Hiace. And there are a few companies that sell parts, but it's mostly limited to some OEM maintenance parts and a few little aftermarket knickknacks. So there's not a very big aftermarket presence for the Hiace. And there are some OEM parts still available. You have to check some online catalogs like at amayama.com, but it's all overseas. So if you find a part that's available, a part that you need that is available in the OEM warehouses, in the Toyota warehouses, and you have to have it shipped from Japan or Saudi Arabia, and that can take a while to get here. Speaking of parts availability, on my last Hiace, we accidentally broke a back side window. That was kind of a nightmare to find. Just couldn't find anybody that was parting one out to get the side window. We ended up having to go through a broker in Japan, and it took like 4 months for this window to get here. It was like $1,000 that was shipped. And, we were just hoping it wouldn't be broken and all that. And it showed up in one piece, which was good, but it took a long time and it took a lot of sourcing to get that part. The second reason you don't want a Hiace is the maintenance costs. So I am basing this mostly on a diesel van like mine. The diesel oil filters are super expensive. If you're going to use the correct one, if you're going to use the Toyota part number, it's like a $30 filter at minimum. And then you got a bunch of diesel oil. So it's an expensive oil change. You want your cooling system to be in good working order. You don't want corrosive antifreeze, corroding the head gasket and all that kind of stuff. So you want that to be in good working order. The radiator cools the engine and has a transmission cooler built in. And so if whatever separates those two fluids fails, then you could be mixing antifreeze and automatic transmission fluid. You may also struggle to find qualified mechanics in your area. A lot of times when they see something like this, oh, it's right side drive, it has some odd engine that wasn't sold in the US, they might be scratching their heads. Do you really want an unqualified person working on your van? Do you really want an unqualified person doing the maintenance on your van? I don't know, not me. The third reason you don't want a Hiace is it's 25 years old. This is old technology. Now, I understand that's part of the charm of an old vehicle. It's, they don't make cars like they used to. Things like this are a little more simple than new stuff that's being produced, but it is an old aging system. I mean, you have old engines, old transmissions, old technology. I mean, how many cooling and heating cycles has this gone through? So you're getting worn out suspension components. You're gonna have cooling system that needs upgrades, brake systems that needs upgrades. We probably don't have very good maintenance history on the van. This is also an era where they didn't think about creature comforts. I mean, you don't have any cup holders. You have this dinky little cup holder up here, which is really silly. Most of them didn't come with any type of key fob, so you have to manually lock and unlock your doors. These vans are not fast, and because they're not fast, they don't have the best brakes. I mean, they got brakes good enough to stop, but they're not performance brakes. They're also going to have potential rust issues. So some of them may start to rust out, like here in the rockers. I'm getting some rust here. Another very popular place for them to rust is right here on the control arm mount. Look how crusty that one is. So just be aware, you might be getting yourself into a can of worms. The fourth reason you don't want a Hiace is safety. Some vans came with driver's side airbags, but some of them don't. Some of them come with passenger side airbags, but a lot of them don't. Some of the vans have anti-lock brakes, but some don't. So at most, you could have just front airbags, but you're not gonna have side curtain airbags. You're not gonna have back curtain airbags for your kids and passengers. For some people, it's a little nerve-wracking to be sitting on top of the wheel with not much in front of you. You don't have like an engine in front of the van. You're kind of sitting on top of the engine. Traction control? What's that? I know for us, our first Hiace didn't have airbags, and my wife, she kind of got in the ditch one day with it, and she kind of had a realization that, hey, maybe we should get one with airbags. So we ended up selling that van, which was a great van. But we found this later one, a 98, and when we were looking at it online, kind of sight unseen, we had to make sure that it had the steering wheel with a big horn pad, so that's a driver's side airbag, and then also the dash, we had to make sure it had the airbag in the dash. So that's about as safe as the van can get. And the last reason you do not want a Hiace is the learning curve involved with driving on the right side of the vehicle. Now, I admit, for some of you, it might not be a big deal because you've already been in the JDM scene for a while and you're just now getting into a Hiace. You know, maybe you're moving from a Delica or something else that was right side drive. So it might not be a big issue to you, but for some people, this is a big issue. You know, if all your friends are telling you like all the time that you're a bad driver and that you don't pay attention and you're just like asleep at the wheel, you probably don't want a Hiace. One of the biggest hangups is your turn signal is on the right side instead of what you're used to on the left side. And then your windshield wipers are over here. So as you're learning, you're gonna be constantly washing your windshield. And once you just start to get the hang of it, you'll get back in your normal car, I don't know, your Chevy Equinox, whatever you drive, on the left side, and you'll be not using your turn signal. You'll be washing the windshield in that vehicle. Your blind spots are in completely different spots. Driving down the center of the road feels completely different because now you got to hug the side of the road instead of towards the middle. And so you're always wondering if you're in the correct spot in the lane. This thing's all in kilometers per hour. How in the heck are you going to compute that in your head? So my first experience driving a right side drive vehicle was not very fun. We flew into Vancouver, Canada to buy a right side drive Japanese imported Land Cruiser. And it was a vehicle that was very unfamiliar to me in a town that I don't know where I was. My map did not work on our phone because, I don't know, international data or something. Our phones didn't work. So I couldn't navigate through town. And I'm driving on the right side of the road. It's like rush hour in the middle of downtown. It was very nerve-wracking. But that learning curve was very steep, and for some of you, it might be even bigger. So you may be okay with right side drive, but what about the other people in your house, your spouse? There are a lot of people I've talked to that have said, I can't buy one because my wife would never drive something like that. If they have to get in and drive it, how comfortable are they going to be driving on the right side of the road? So let me know in the comments, did I scare you out of buying a Hiace? And don't forget to watch my other video about the 5 reasons you should buy a Hiace, because that will probably cheer you up.